Hello. Welcome to Story Time with Captain Party. Let's see. Where were we? I think we just finished chapter 20, which means we're on chapter 21. So, I suppose that's where we should start, since we're doing these things in order still. I'm trying to stick to that. Order. The first night, Denny's outside the front door, holding something wrapped in a pink baby blanket. This is all through the peephole in my mom's door. Denny's in his giant plaid coat, Denny cradling some baby to his chest, his nose bulging, his eyes bulging, everything bulging because of the peephole lens. Everything distorted. His hands clutching the bundle are white with the effort, and Denny yells, "Open up, dude." And I open the door as far as the burglar chain will go. And I go, "What do you got there?" And Denny tucks the blanket around his little bundle and he says, "What's it look like?" "Well, it looks like a baby, dude," I say. And then he says, "Good," and he hefts the pink bundle and says, "Let me in, dude. This is getting really heavy." And then I slip the chain aside, and Denny charges in over to the living room corner, and he heaves the baby onto the plastic-covered sofa. The pink blanket rolls, and out rolls a rock, gray and granite-colored, scrubbed and smooth-looking. No baby, for real, just this boulder. "Thanks for the baby idea," Denny says. "People see a young guy with a baby and they're sweet on you," he says. "They see a guy carrying a big rock and they get all tensed up, especially if you want to bring it on the bus." He tucks one edge of the pink blanket under his chin and starts folding against his front and says, "Plus, with a baby, you always get a seat. And if you forget your money, they don't kick you off." Denny flops the folded blanket over his shoulder and says, "This is your mom's house?" And the dining room table is covered with today's birthday cards and checks, my thank you letters, the big book of who and where. Beside that, my mom's old 10-key adding machine, the kind with a long slot machine handle that you pull along one side. And sitting back down, I start doing today's deposit slip and I say, "Yeah, it's her house, until the property tax people kick me out in a few months."
Yeah, we're back.
And then he says, "It's good you got a whole house, since my folks want all my rocks to move out with me." "Dude," I say, "how many do you have?" "He's got a rock for every day he has sobriety," Denny says. "It's what he does at night to stay occupied. He finds rocks, he washes them, hauls them home. It's how his recovery is going to be about doing something big and good, instead of just not doing little bad shit. It's so I don't act out, dude," he says. You have no idea how tough it is to find good rocks in a city. I mean, not like chunks of concrete or those plastic rocks people hide their extra keys inside. The total for today's checks is $75, all from strangers who Heimlich maneuvered me in some restaurant somewhere. And this is nowhere near what I figure the stomach tube is going to cost me. And to Denny I say, "So how many days you got so far? 127 rocks worth?" 127 rocks worth, Denny says, and he comes around to the table next to me, looking at the birthday cards, looking at the checks, and he says, "So where's your mom's famous diary?" And he picks up a birthday card. "You can't read it," I say. And Denny says, "Sorry, dude," and starts to put the card down. "No," I tell him, "the diary. It's written in some foreign language, and that's why he can't read it. I can't read it. How my mom thinks is she probably wrote it that way so I'd never sneak through it when I was a kid." "Dude," I say, "I think it's Italian." And Denny goes, "Italian?" "Yeah," I go, "you know, like spaghetti." Still, with his big plaid coat on, Denny says, "Did you eat yet?" "Well, not yet." And I seal the deposit envelope. And Denny says, "You think they're going to banish me tomorrow?" "Yes, no, probably." Ursula saw him with the newspaper. The deposit slip is ready for the bank tomorrow. All the thank you letters, the underdog letters, are signed and stamped and ready to go to the mail. I get my coat from the sofa. Next to it, Denny's rock is squashing the springs down. "So what's with these rocks?" I say. Oh yeah, get it all over the bed. That's how you make it comfortable for yourself. No, not a good plan. Alright, here we go. "So what's with these rocks?" I say. Denny opens the front door, and he's standing there while I turn off some lights in the doorway. And he says, "I don't know. But rocks are like, you know, land. It's like these rocks are a kit. It's land, but with some assembly required, you know? Land ownership. But for right now, it's just indoors." And I say, "For sure, I guess." And we go out, and I lock the door behind us, and the night sky is all fuzzy with stars, all out of focus. There's no moon. Outside on the sidewalk, Denny looks up at the mess and says, "What I think happened is when God wanted to make the earth out of chaos, the first thing he did was just get a lot of rocks together." And while we walk, his new obsessive compulsion has my eyes already scanning vacant lots and places for rocks that we can pick up. Walking down to the bus stop with me, still with the pink baby blanket folded over his shoulder, Denny says, "I only take the rocks nobody wants," he says. "I'll just get one rock every night, and then I'll figure it out the next part, you know? Next." It's such a creepy idea, us taking home rocks. We're collecting land. "You know that girl Daiquiri," Denny says? "The dancer with the cancery mole," he says. "You didn't sleep with her, did you?" "We're shoplifting real property, burgling terra firma." And I say, "Why not?" "We're just an outlaw couple of land rustlers." And Denny says, "Her real name's Beth, you know." The way Denny thinks, he's probably got plans to start his own planet. Well, that's it. Chapter 21. Well, that's our chapter for today. So, we'll see you next time.